countryside of Città della Pieve on the border between Umbria and Tuscany, where I have the pleasure of interviewing Mr. and Miss Sutherland, who will share with us how they were able to find their dream property, Tenuta il Merlo. We'll meet them shortly. See you at the property. So, and here we are with our guests, Mr. and Miss Sutherland. So, Chris and Allison, would you like to start off by telling us a little bit about yourselves, where you're originally from, and what you do for a living?
After you.
Yeah, we're from Tulsa, Oklahoma. I was born in Tulsa.
And I was born in Germany, but my parents were in the military, so Army brat.
And we have a family business. We do kind of a myriad of things. We've got a chain of home improvement stores. We're Planet Fitness franchisees. We do, family does a little bit of oil and gas, a little bit of factory, a little bit of plastics.
Furniture, yeah.
Furniture stores. We actually partnered up with a company called Natuzzi, and they're out of Puglia. And so we opened stores together with Natuzzi in the United States.
For the, what do you call it, for the sofa.
Yep,
Yeah.
for furniture. And we just, really enjoy Italy and get over here a lot for vacation and a little bit for work. So.
Yep, decided why not purchase a property?
Yep, enough to think about this.
Yep.
So, what made you decide to purchase a property here in Città della Pieve? Because we're on the border between Umbria and southern Tuscany. What was it about this area that you liked?
Well, Chris did a lot of exploring and kind of got to know the area really well through work trips and pleasure trips, and he can tell you kind of how he ended up.
And then, like everybody else, we were stuck at home in COVID. And so we had a house, computer connection, and a lot of time. And so we just searched and searched and searched. I think we looked at 1,500
houses online to start with.
Wow, that's a lot.
4 or 5 hours a day for
Yeah.
months on end, you know what I mean?
And
Because COVID.
And through our travels, I think like Chris and I both kind of especially loved a certain region of those houses. So we started narrowing it down based off its central location.
Yeah, kind of price, amenities, and the more pictures we looked at and the more we read about, the more we kind of figured out what we were looking for, even though we still had never seen any of these houses in person.
Yeah.
And so we narrowed it down to 120, and then we relooked and narrowed it down to 37.
30s, in the 30s, yeah. And we just basically had to keep going because we knew we'd never be able to see 120 houses in one trip. 30-something was doable.
Yeah.
So.
And how did you discover Great Estate? What made you decide to go with Great Estate, and in particular Roberto for your consultant?
So we found this house and found it on the Great Estate website.
Okay.
And it had the video. And so we watched that video.
We watched it so many times. I think we could have driven to the house and walked around the house and known every room.
Yeah.
We looked at it so many times just to really get a good idea of what it was like.
And then we even watched the video where they drive in and got on Google Maps and traced the turns and found the house satellite.
So we could look and see what it was really like, of what it was around. And
Yes, you need to get a good idea, definitely, of the surroundings.
This before we came, this was our favorite house.
Out of the list of 37.
Out of the list of 37, this was our number one. And then we had a number 2 down by Orvieto.
Okay.
And they both ended up being, after seeing all 37 properties, number 1 stayed number 1 and number 2 stayed number 2. So it was good enough online research for watching the videos, looking at the floor plans and the pictures, that we really had an accurate idea of what would be our favorite.
Okay. Yeah, in fact, that was one of my questions is why, because I understand you visited a lot of properties with Roberto and his assistant Mariana. And so what made you decide on this property in particular? What was it that sold you on this property?
I think it was just a combination. Well, the view.
The view was number 1.
The view is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And no photos or videos ever
Could
do
do
it
justice.
justice.
You told me this.
Yeah.
And
But this was, I think, was good.
Mhm.
yeah,
Because if you was already number one, and then you come here and it's even better.
Yeah. That was already the reason it was number one, and then you come and you can't even pictures don't do it justice. And we stood out here, and I was like, it's a $10 million view.
and
Yeah.
number
Can't beat
number
the view.
one for Allie was the wagon.
Oh yes,
The wagon.
there is the wagon in the
wagon
panoramic
was-
view. That was very important to me.
Okay.
Yeah, of
I
course.
said-
I remember it was a big part of the deal. Or a big part of the purchase offer and the negotiation
Yes.
was included.
Yes, and Roberto
The car, the
promised
wagon.
if we couldn't get the wagon with the house that he would find me another wagon,
Yes, of
and I
course.
said no, only that
Okay.
wagon.
So the wagon needs to stay on the property.
So basically, there was a wagon, and I guess this
Yes.
wheel.
And the and a wagon wheel because it's
Yeah.
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
wagon experience.
It's part of
This
the
is very
history of the house.
Yes.
Yeah.
I remember just one fun note because when I first called Chris first time, so I said, "Hello, Mr. Sutherland. Oh, this is Roberto," because he recognized my voice from the video.
From the video.
I remember this.
Yeah.
Yes, our first phone call was very fun.
Yes.
It's like if I don't know if he was
You already knew each other.
Yes.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
how many times we watched the video.
Yes.
It was very funny.
We
Yeah.
felt like friends.
So Roberto, what will you remember most about your experience with Chris and Allison?
Well, I mean, it was of course a very good experience with them. They are, let's say, beautiful clients, and they have been really very, I'd say, proactive since first time. But of course, as they have explained to us, they have already probably been very educated themselves in looking and finding and looking again and understanding really a lot from their searches, property searches, internet, let's say photos, videos, floor plans. So, I mean, they came for the first time probably to look at properties, but they have already been, they have like very clear ideas.
They were already prepared.
Really
Yeah.
prepared. I mean, for sure, maybe Chris and Alison had experience in homes, maybe buying homes, renovating homes, because I mean they were not scared about any, let's say, kind of little issues,
Sure. Okay.
which many clients are scared of
Right.
today. So I think this makes the difference for them to choose this property because I mean the location is really great.
Yes.
The house is a little bit dated, but they knew how to face that.
Okay.
So and this was not let's say simple for many others because they are a little bit more scared to do some renovation, to buy some
Right.
stuff, to clean a lot of stuff and
Yeah.
to do some work.
But it's nice because then you get to put your own personal touches on the house and
Instead of it being already done.
Right,
yeah,
and
by
make it
someone else.
yours.
Yeah.
So, one final question to wrap up our interview. So, how do you imagine? I don't know if this is a holiday home for you, but how do you imagine your future holidays or vacations in this home?
Well, we get over here about once a month.
Okay,
We just try to come as much as we possibly can.
it's more
Yeah.
than a vacation home.
Yeah. And so, sometimes we have kids with us. Sometimes it's adults. We've got friends that rented a place just up
10
by,
minutes away.
10
yeah,
minutes
up
away.
the White Road. Yeah.
and they have their four kiddos with them.
Mm-hmm.
And so they come over and swim and hang out. We're going to go over to their house.
Yeah.
And we've got another set of friends that I have to pick up from the Rome Airport tomorrow. And so I think
Looking
we
for
see it as
something?
Huh?
Looking for something?
No, the friends up the road are who you need to talk to.
Yeah.
Okay.
There you are.
So we see it as a family and friends guest house.
Yeah.
Definitely.
You know,
Definitely.
Yeah, something we come to as much as we can, but we're really have already, my family's come, his family's coming next month.
Yeah.
a couple months, and it's just all lined up for a lot of like great memories.
And,
Wonderful.
and you know, we've got our eye on a few more places around here.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. So we'll see.
We just love the area.
Yeah, Titanolev is a good area, and you're right in the heart of. Again, you're on the border between Tuscany and Umbria, and there's no better place for wine and food, and
Yeah.
this is it.
Oh, we
So
got to get our
it doesn't get
vineyard
better
in
than
too.
this.
We got to plant
Yeah.
a vineyard. We got to start messing with
There
the.
you go.
Yeah.
We trim back the olive trees.
So we-
They're producing.
There you
so-
go.
Getting
Yeah,
ready
we
for
have
our
to look
own
for that
olive
for that
oil.
land.
Wonderful. That sounds fantastic. So I want to thank you both for being here with us today, and thank you, Roberto, and thank you everyone for watching, of course, and we'll see you at the next Great Estate interview.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks a lot.